expressed in this program and not necessarily those of Love 101 FM.
Hello and welcome to the Morning Watch on Love 101 FM, the number one gospel station in Jamaica. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. A special welcome to our listeners on love101.org, and if you are overseas and on the move, U.S. listeners can access us at 712-832-8001, and if you are in the UK, 0330-332-6541, or join us via the Love 101 FM app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can also check us out on Love 101 FM, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live. In the main watch today, Jamaica's lottery scamming problem. Is there no stopping it? In the second watch, proposed changes to the Cybercrimes Act to include psychological and mental injury. In our social media question, we ask, what is the solution to Jamaica's lottery scamming problem? Share your responses in our Facebook or YouTube Love 101 FM Jamaica Live, and also WhatsApp comments and voice notes to 876-997-3125 using hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll share your comments later on in the program, but first, here's our quote.
True faith means holding nothing back. It means putting every hope in God's fidelity to his promises. That one from Francis Chan.
Very deep and powerful. I quote, it appears here, Deidre. Good
Very
morning,
deep.
Deidre. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine, thanks. And you?
I'm well. Looking forward to a great program today.
So am I.
Well, we get right into it. The main watch will be back after this break.
Excuse and pass my phone. Me have to see for me at the digital golden SIM card number for win $1 million. To enter, just top up, activate a plan or any other qualified action. Check the first 18 digits of your SIM card. Then visit Digicel's social media pages or the My Digicel app on Tuesdays to check if you have the golden SIM for the week. Call 876-619-5000 to claim your prize. Text 142 to 137 for more info.
Authorized under Section 58B of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission Act.
Sip healthy with Sip Spring Water. We deliver straight to your home or office. WhatsApp or call 876-822-7477. Sip Spring Water. Simply sips.
Jamaica's gangs are like packs of rats. Nasty. They live in filth and try and drag us all in there with them, spreading the disease of violence and corruption everywhere. Nasty. But like a pack of rats, they can be eliminated. Rats. With your help. If you have information on gangs, call Crime Stop on 311. This message is brought to you by Crime Stop and their marketing partners, Lime and NCB.
Exporters, importers, all stakeholders. Get the facts on Jamaica's Authorized Economic Operator, or AEO program, at the Jamaica Customs Agency's CCC online forum. Click, connect, and converse with Customs. Thursday, June 30, 2022, from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. under the theme Jamaica's AEO program, facilitating a safer and more effective supply chain, locally and globally. Log on for AEO requirements and benefits and clarify any misconceptions. So click, connect, and converse with Customs. Thursday, June 30 at 10:30 a.m. Register at jacustoms.gov.jm. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
Are you ready for more fun this summer? This Saturday, July 2, Love 101 presents the I Love Summer Pull-Up Stop at Evangel Temple Deliverance Center in Portmore, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m.
So who are we going to see?
Come out and dance holy as DJ Rebirth spins the gospel with a youthful touch. Pull up and listen for the live performances from Minister Howdy,
Lubert Levy,
and Lucas Music.
So you and you are invited to come over. Yes, and be on location. And let's love up the summer pull-up. Come hang with our youth ambassador, Chevonnie Blair, our very own DJ Rebirth, and Kim Lee on location. We are on a Jamaican colors, and make sure you go all out enough. It's I Love Summer, Jamaica 60th edition.
I Love Summer Pull Up this Saturday, July 2, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Evangel Temple Deliverance Center on the Helsha Main Road. It's gonna be live on the family station, Love 101.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. Barely a day ago, well, barely a day, rather barely a day can go by without some sort of report or story about lottery scamming. And if it's not about an arrest being made, it's about scammed victims, or it's about another scheme uncovered, and its nexus is usually in St. James. Why is this so, and what's being done about it? We intend to have a conversation today with Superintendent Delia Garrick. She's officer in charge of administration at the Corporate Communications Unit of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. We also intend to speak to Pastor Charles Brevitt, pastor of King's Seventh-day Adventist Church in the lovely parish of St. James. Pastor Brevitt, Superintendent Garrick, good day to you both.
Good morning, Mr. Marshall. Good morning, Pastor, and good morning to your listeners.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I feel honored to be in your company. I hope we can have a fruitful discussion.
Looking forward to that.
Well, it's great having you both. Great having you both. And we'll get right into the discussion, because when did lottery scamming take such a hold on Jamaica? And why has Western Jamaica become so known for it? Superintendent Garrick, you want to start us off?
Well, lottery scamming first started in Western Jamaica in the late 1990s. It started out with a sweepstake similar to the Nigerian sweepstake, and then morphed into a scamming, what they refer to then as the game. At that time, it was more about the self-laundering. So it was about, extravagant lifestyle, wild spending, partying. And then the scammers started to be victims of extortion from gangsters. So they, in turn, started to hire gangsters for protection. And that continues through till we see around in the early 2000s, you saw where it, the prevalence started to spread throughout, especially St. James. Coming out of that, you found the scammers now started to buy arms and arm themselves. So no longer were they depending on others to protect them. They were now protecting themselves. And then you saw where the violence started go hand in hand with the scamming. So coming out of that, you saw where not only scamming was prevalent in St. James, but it had spread to parishes like Hanover and Westmoreland. And subsequently, we see where scamming is affecting the entire country. During the time when it was very strong in St. James, they would do the scamming activities in St. James, but often would hide out in Manchester. So to avoid public scrutiny, they would do their scamming and then go and live as regular law-abiding citizens, or appearing to be, in these quiet, docile parishes. We now see where scamming is one of the main drivers of organized crime in Jamaica, the level of violence that is associated with it, or youngsters who are getting caught up into this. And, the devastating effect it has had on our country.
Pastor Brevitt, what effects are you seeing that lottery scamming is having in your parish? And perhaps you could even comment on the wider Western Jamaica.
Well, I appreciate that that overview that we just had. But an additional truth to be told, and I pastored in St. James at the time when the thing really expanded. And one of the things that must be said is that when the thing started, even regular law-abiding citizens condone it and excuse it in the name of repatriating wealth stolen from our forefathers. So the idea was they are taking back what was robbed by the old pirates from our ancestors. And so even Christian people and otherwise decent people condoned it. And yes, they were buying arms to protect themselves, but they were also buying people to facilitate their breaking of the law. So this thing could not prosper if regular law-abiding citizens were not entangled in there.
Of the law.
Come again?
When you say they were buying law-abiding people to facilitate their breaking of the law, trying to paraphrase what you said here, sir, what are you alluding to?
Okay. Many of these people don't have a job, and maybe this now is lack of government policy. In some countries, you can't buy a house in a gated community. You can't buy a most expensive vehicle and import it into the island or buy it from somebody here, and you are not on the tax roll as an income-generating person within the ambit of the law. Some of them go and buy a license, a driver's license. They have no knowledge of, nor respect or regard for the rules of the road. They contribute generously to communities and political parties.
Yeah, so in other words, to borrow some terms in relation to the Proceeds of Crime Act, they were placing their money in the financial system, layering it and having it fully integrated into the financial system. Any comments on that, Superintendent Garrett? Because these are classic ways in which people will launder money.
I agree with Pastor in terms of they getting people involved. You have various level of professionals who give support through their professional services. And this is where you find that the commingling of the funds, they try to get these illicit funds into legitimate streams and legitimize themselves. And the support from the community, as indicated by Pastor, is so correct, because a lot of people will say it's just a little scamming. You know, it is never seen, or oftentimes not seen, as something wrong, something criminal. And even when it reaches a point where it started to be very violent, people were still making excuses, because a lot of time the funds, a lot of people benefit from these funds. And so people often are willing to overlook the criminality, the criminal behavior, the breakdown in order, and just turn a blind eye. Children in school acquiring wealth, and even when your investigation, because oftentimes we go in, we will seize assets and stuff. You find that sometimes these assets are not in the individual's name. Even the way they collect their monies, they will recruit people to use their accounts to be couriers to mask who really own these money. And that is why the investigations around lottery scamming are often complex, because you have to take on a financial investigation.
Yes.
Right. And may I?
Sure. Yes, to mask the beneficial owner.
Police will know.
Hold that thought, Pastor. We'll come back to you right after the break. We'll take a break.
Okay,
we'll take a break now, listeners. We'll be right back in the morning.
What would I do without you? You help me carry on. You help me stay strong. Whenever I'm down and can get through, you lift me up again and going all day long. Precious moments we share with you, everything's so right. It's clear, nothing else can compare to the taste that you bring to life. Mom's you're full of life.
Tell me where you get the money transfer. Alliance. Where you get the money transfer. Alliance. Where you get the money transfer. Money move like a bird, like a plane, it's a blur. Money quick, money fast, money reach in a flash. This your agent no run out of cash. Pay the rent, pay the bills or buy the grocery. Make a call for the cash and pay the school fee.
Money when and where you need it. Alliance MoneyGram Money Transfer. Convenient locations island-wide. A member of the Sagicor Group.
Tell me where you get the money transfer.
Alliance. Prepare for the future with over $3 million in cash and prizes with Tang. From May 9th to July 30th, a chance to win monthly prizes of laptops, tablets, smart savings accounts, school supplies voucher. Grand draw on August 17th. First place $1 million. Second place $500,000. Third place $250,000. Buy any 6-pack of Tang for a chance to win. Upload receipts to tangpromotion.com. Drop in supermarkets or mail P.O. Box 2010 CSO.
Are you ready for more fun this summer? This Saturday, July 2, Love 101 presents the I Love Summer Pull-Up Stop at Evangel Temple Deliverance Center in Portmore, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m.
So who are we going to see?
Come out and dance holy as DJ Rebirth spins the gospel with a youthful touch. Pull up and listen for the live performances from Minister Howdy,
Lubert Levy,
and Lucas Music.
So you are invited to come over. Yes, and be on location. And let's love up the summer pull up. Come hang with our youth ambassador, Shevani Blair, our very own DJ Rebirth, and Kim Lee on location. We are on a Jamaican colors and make sure you go all out now. It's I Love Summer, Jamaica 60 edition.
I Love Summer Pull Up this Saturday, July 2, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Evangel Temple Deliverance Center on the Helsha Main Road. It's gonna be live on the family station, Love 101.
From generation to generation, Jamaicans have depended on J&B Bank to make the pride and joy of providing a safe place for their families possible. Now, with no processing fees and no down payment mortgage options, you can open the door to your own sweet home, a legacy to hand to your next generation. Visit jnbank.com to get pre-approved today. J&B Bank will help you find a way.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. We are in the main watch. We're discussing Jamaica's lottery scamming problem. Is there no stopping it? Our guests are Superintendent Taylor Garrick, Officer in charge of administration of the Corporate Communications Unit of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and Pastor Charles Brevitt, pastor of the King's Seventh-day Adventist Church, St. James. Pastor Brevitt, before the break, you were about to make a point.
I was about to make the point that I don't believe that the police is naive when they set up speed trap, that they are going to cut out speeding. But at least when they catch you speeding, the cost should be so prohibitive that they minimize it. Now, I hear the police saying that investigating lottery scam is difficult and complex because of who are involved. I am saying that the police is given basket to carry water. The government must put regulations in place that might not cut out lottery scam, But if you are caught involved in lottery scam, the cost to you should be so prohibitive that people will be afraid to get involved in there. For example, I have a decent job. I am an upstanding citizen in the community. And I use my standing and my status to shield Tom, who is a lottery scammer. And when Tom's wealth is traced or found, it is found camouflaged under my name. You know how many times I go to these money transfer agencies and I have to present all kind of proof of source of fund. And while I'm standing there, I see some boys who never have a job in their life, walking in some slippers and the tear up pants and go knock on a door. And the door open and a wad of money is handed to them. When decent citizens are having their internal organs examined before they can get their money. And here are some simple things.
Pastor Brevet, to be clear, you have been a witness to this kind of activity.
Of course. And in Western Jamaica, people who use money transfer, they are daily subjected to that. And I would hate to know that all this is going on and none has happened in the presence of police.
Before you come in, Superintendent, and Pastor Brevet, when you say you are a witness to money being handed to a bank manager or a bank official in the bank,
no, the money transfer people,
remittance.
You're talking about the money transfer people.
Yeah.
The remittances.
And I'm making the point that I, as a decent, upstanding citizen, have to provide source of fund.
Pastor, I know there's a delay in the communication. I think you might be on the phone. But just for clarity, do you know what was that discussion or conversation or communication taking place between that remittance official and the person who you described? Because we don't want to have a false allegation here.
Well, I don't know, but it has happened so many times that I have seen it happen, and I speak to my friends who have seen it happen too. That you, as an upstanding citizen, have to join a line and wait.
Superintendent Gary, Pastor Brevet said something which sounds alarming, but at the same time, I don't want to be alarmist because I don't know what that communication was about. We are only going off what Pastor Brevet has said.
Ask the police if they are aware that happened.
So, we have had cases where during our investigation, we had to carry operation at remittances because, as we say, facilitators come in many forms and in various offices. So we have had instances, in fact, because of what has been happening with the lottery scam, the scamming in Jamaica, there is a multi-agency, multinational task force, which includes members of the U.S. Marshal Department, U.S. Postal Inspectors, or remittances, or major remittances, the police, to include CTOC and MOCA, where a task force is established. We have had many cases that are multi-jurisdictional in investigation. Also, since the start of this year, I think we have so far gone with 3 extraditions, and we have arrested other persons who are now awaiting extradition. So, what Pastor Brevet has said is it's something that we have come across in our investigations, and persons who work within those formal financial framework have been implicated and brought to books for their involvement.
But you see, before you come back in, Pastor, I don't think the challenge is the regulations and the laws. We have the laws on the books. I think what is challenging for persons like Pastor Brevet here is that he's seeing things taking place on the ground. We have the Proceeds of Crime Act. We have the statute that persons can be charged on in relation to lottery scamming. But Superintendent Gary, what are some of the challenges that the police are having, generally speaking, And is it that the persons who are engaged in the lottery scamming are finding ways to stay one step ahead of you at all times? What
All
has
right.
been the
Just like
experience of the police?
lottery scamming is no organized crime. So what you'll find is that they'll find creative means. Let me give an example. You find scammers will have victims. So they have call persons, they have tricked them into sending money, and they have emptied those elderly people, especially bank accounts. After a while, during this process, oftentimes they befriend their victims. And some of the time they recruit these victims in becoming couriers. So what they do now, when they scam other people, that money would be forwarded to these victims who now become couriers for them to transport it into the island. We have made several arrests like that. They also have them using their bank account as conduits. We have had investigation and arrest. So these guys would support anything. They use all the channels available to include using, getting the money transferred through credit card, green pack cards, you name it. They actually have people, just like back in the days when you have drug courier who would make a run up to take drugs and take in money. They do have people that they recruit just to do that. They have people who they recruit overseas to do their pickup. So we have to constantly be monitoring and keeping up and staying a step ahead of them. But as you would appreciate, in Jamaica, the burden of proof, even in a civil case, because sometimes when the criminal case has ended, that's when the financial kicks in with the civil. The laws of Jamaica will see the authorities having to prove that whatever asset they have identified was illicit gain. In other jurisdictions, it is the reverse, where the person has to prove that they legitimately acquired these assets. So we look again at how many persons are arrested, convicted, and we look at the sentencing. A lot of the sentencing are suspended sentences. So you may defraud someone of millions and you get a 2-year suspended sentence. Sometimes the fines that are attached are minuscule. When you arrest a lottery scammer, if you realize oftentimes the type of legal representation.
Oh yes.
But we are not daunted. We are not daunted. We will continue to train our members to carry out the operations, to identify these individuals, to go after the assets, and to take down the supporting systems that they have in place.
You know, there's an item in Loop Newspaper dated June 7, 2022. The headline reads, "Scammers, hitmen on radar, more quick response teams coming from," and this is of course being said by the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Pastor Brevitt, does this give you any comfort?
I will be comforted when I see results. Because what she just said must not be taken lightly. There was a time when intimidation was the modus operandi. Now, I was visiting a member of mine just day before yesterday, and the phone rang, and the husband answered the phone. They're in their maybe late 60s or late 70s. And the gentleman answered the phone, and I don't know what the person on the other end said, but he handed the phone to his wife, said, "They said they can't hear me." So the wife said, "Is Scammer's daddy?" And right before me, an argument developed because the husband was saying, no, he's a nice guy. He's so decent and mannerly. And that, so she answered the phone.
Be friends.
And yes, of course. And pull a wool over the. They are masters at psychology, you know. They are masters at psychology and brainwashing.
And that is why they're able to recruit even some of their victims. Any final note you want to leave with the Superintendent, Garrick?
Certainly. I would encourage, especially our parents, to guide your children. Do not be consumed by greed and caught up in material gains, because we often see where scamming ends. It ends in death. it ends in dismay, it ends in violence. I know the temptations are real because just like other types of peer pressure, the youngsters are being pressured and recruited into scamming.
And
But
some
we
children
have
even say they
responsibility.
want to be scammers now. Some children are even saying they would like.
And you do have parents who will turn a blind eye because, as Pastor Beverly said earlier, people are phrasing it in a way that it seems normal and okay. It's the money that was owed to us. We've been exploited. It's our turn now to exploit.
Unfortunately, we are totally out of time, but essentially this practice needs to be eliminated. Superintendent Garrick and Pastor Brevitt, thank you for your time. Listeners, please stay with us. We'll be right back on the Morning Watch.
You're most welcome. Have a blessed day, Pastor Beverly. And
you too, my dear. You too. All the best in your fight.
Thank you, sir. And keep up the good work. Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
A JN Bank personal unsecured loan can help you tackle your goals with monthly payments as low as $19,999 per million. Conditions apply. The time by JN Bank is
7:31. You're tuned to Love 101.
There is nothing better than seeing your child happy, and the decision to create happy moments is yours. Lactogen 3 with L Comfortis helps you nurture that happiness with probiotics that help you protect their tummy, vitamins and minerals for growth, and DHA for their brain development. Lactogen 3, growing up happy. Lactogen 3 from 1 year onward is not a breast milk substitute.
Say thanks to Dad with a gift of unlimited from Flow. Enjoy great smartphone deals when you switch now, like a ZTE A31 for just $5,000 or a TCL 20E for just $16,900 GCT included. And both phones are loaded with 7 days of unlimited talk, YouTube, social, and data for TikTok. Plus, you get a free sunglasses. Switch out to Flow store today and keep your number available while stocks last.
The first sound they make is to simply let the world know they're here. And then it's our duty to help them show the world why they're here in the first place.
Give them every advantage with the Guardian Achiever, a plan that provides for their educational dreams and protects their health and life in the process. For more information, call 888-4LIFE to speak to an advisor or visit myguardiangroup.com.
Are you ready for more fun this summer? This Saturday, July 2, Love 101 presents the I Love Summer Pull-Up Stop at Evangel Temple Deliverance Center in Portmore, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m.
So who are we going to see?
Come out and dance holy as DJ Rebirth spins the gospel with a youthful touch. Pull up! And listen for the live performances from Minister Howdy,
Lubert Levy,
and Lucas Music.
So you are invited to come over. Yes, and be on location. And let's love up the summer pull up. Come hang with our youth ambassador, Shevani Blair, our very own DJ Rebirth, and Kim Lee on location. We are on a Jamaican colors and make sure you go all out enough. It's I Love Summer, Jamaica 60 edition.
I Love Summer Pull Up this Saturday, July 2, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Evangel Temple Deliverance Center on the Helsha Main Road. It's gonna be live on the family station, Love 101.
Oh yes. And my Jamaica this. We're 60 and we're nice.
Join us as we take a look at the things that make our country great.
Our people, our music, and so much more.
Let's venture down memory lane and remember all the things that put our country on the map.
That's right. And my Jamaica this. We're 60 and we're nice. Listen on Thursday at 11:05 a.m. right here on Love 101, the family station.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. Let's take a look now at the newspapers to see what Jamaicans and others are saying and doing. We have here in Loop News: submachine gun ammo Ballistic vest bagged on Love Lane in Clarendon. We now turn to the Gleaner. Among the latest news, Member of Parliament questions absence of rights groups at vigil for victims of Clarendon massacre. And we have in the Observer, crime choking country. Those and many other stories in both major daily newspapers. Coming up next, we'll read through some of the feedback from our Facebook and WhatsApp question, which is, what is the solution to Jamaica's lottery scamming problem? If you haven't done so yet, leave a comment on our Facebook or YouTube, Love 101 FM Jamaica Live, and also WhatsApp comments and voice notes to 876-9973-125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll be right back.
They just got married and things are going smooth. Are they really going smooth though? Well, you can find out if this is truly so inside the Truly Marvelous program to have and to hold this and every fifth Thursday for the newlywed, where we will explore a newlywed love story, the engagement, their COVID-19 wedding, their illusion versus the reality of marriage, sharing space, and so much more. Our newlywed for this week, Thursday, June 30, is Janelle and Matthew Williams. That's the newlywed inside of the program that's designed to have and to hold marriages, and it happens this Thursday, June 30 at 5:30 p.m. right here on the family station, Love 101.
Are you ready for more fun this summer? This Saturday, July 2, Love 101 presents the I Love Summer Pull-Up Stop at Evangel Temple Deliverance Center in Portmore, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m.
So who we going to see?
Come out and dance holy as DJ Rebirth spins the gospel with a youthful touch. Pull up! And listen for the live performances from Minister Howdy,
Lubert Levy,
and Lucas Music.
So you are invited to come over. Yes, and be on location. And let's love up the summer pull up. Come hang with our youth ambassador, Chevonnie Blair, our very own DJ Rebirth, and Kim Lee on location. We are on a Jamaican colors and make sure you go all out enough. It's I Love Summer, Jamaica 60 edition.
I Love Summer Pull Up this Saturday, July 2, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Evangel Temple Deliverance Center on the Helsha Main Road. It's gonna be live on the family station, Love 101.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. Let's join Deidre for a look at how our Facebook and WhatsApp friends answer today's question. What is the solution to Jamaica's lottery scamming problem? Deidre?
Okay, so this person says the solution is job creation and better education in the school system. I did not catch their name, but that's on WhatsApp. Sister Pam from Frankel, she commented on the first watch.
Good morning to the panel. Good morning to everyone. Yes, man, these guys find every way to scam you. The other day, a guy tried to scam me by using a number that I know, but the person not using that SIM card again. So he called me, trying to scam me on the SIM card, not knowing that I know his number, that number. So I just block him. Yeah, man, then find every way to scam you, yard and abroad. All right, and have a blessed day.
A blessed day to her as well. Very serious problem anymore.
Novadine Ferron on Facebook, I believe she's referring to the pastor when she said he's talking the truth. I see it all the time. I believe it was when he was making reference to the person
Yes.
coming into the remittance center.
Yes. This is a major nightmare, and This nightmare has to end. Well, all nightmares do end when people wake up. Well, we're now into the second watch. It's almost a year since discussions read the proposed amendments to the Cybercrimes Act of 2015 came up in Parliament. And the amendments are said to, or are proposed to include penalties for causing psychological and mental injury on an online platform, for example. We have online at the moment Shirley Richards, attorney at law, and we are to have online, or we may have online now, Mr. Chuck Cameron, attorney at law, privacy practitioner, design privacy. Good morning, Ms. Richards. And do we have Mr. Cameron on us yet?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Great having you both. Great having you both. I hope that you're both well. And getting right into the discussion now, what is the purpose of the Cybercrimes Act generally, and what, in summary, are the proposed amendments, particularly in relation to the whole matter of psychological harm, or even where there is no psychological harm deemed to have occurred or alleged to have occurred? Mr. Cameron, let's start with you.
So the purpose of the Cybercrimes Act is really to protect persons who use computer systems and have valuable assets on computer systems, and prevent people from unlawfully exploiting or accessing those valuable assets you have on computer systems. That's one aspect. Another aspect is also to protect citizens from harm that may be suffered by using technology or computers. So there are two primary subjects that are being protected. One, the fact that we conduct a lot of business on computers and they are valuable assets. So the same way you want to protect your home, and it's an offense to break into somebody's home, it's the same way they want to protect your computer and prevent people from breaking into your computer. And they also want to protect the person from any psychological harm. Well, from harm, regardless of how that harm is occasioned.
Is harm defined?
So you use your traditional definitions. So initially, the law only spoke to there being, it was very specific to be able to seek any relief or get any protection under the Cybercrimes Act from a criminal perspective. There had to be some sort of obscene act, and it had to be, so what Section 9 reads is, a person commits an offense if that person uses a computer to send another person any data that is obscene, constitutes a threat, or is menacing, and intends to cause or is reckless as to whether the sending of that data causes annoyance, inconvenience, distress, or anxiety to that or any other person. The challenge with that is that the concept of obscene stems from a law that was received from our English antecedents, and that is a very high level. The reality is we now want to incorporate the whole concept of defamatory or untrue material, because untrue material can cause significant psychological harm on an individual. So that raised a number of issues that I'd leave there, but they're really trying to protect that person where it doesn't raise to obscenity and it does not constitute a threat, because there are other ills that persons face that are not necessarily threats or obscene.
Shirley Richards, I know that we are already upon a break, but before we head to the break, well, after the break, I'm going to ask you to outline what proposed amendments concern you and why. Listeners, please stay with us. We'll be right back on the Morning Watch.
Put your plans in motion. There's a JN Bank loan just for you. That's true. Put your plans in motion. JN Bank will help you see them through.
A JN Bank unsecured loan can help you fix up your home, handle that emergency, consolidate debt, and more. Borrow up to $5 million with low monthly payments.
Put your plans in motion.
Monthly payments as low as $19,999 per million. Conditions apply. JN Bank will help you find a way.
Sometimes all we need is a listening ear. The listening ear, the counseling, the logical reasoning, and spiritual guidance are what appeal to us. That's why I'm here. I'm Dr. Joan Pinkney, the counselor, your counselor on Love 101 FM, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 10 to 11 p.m. You know you can call on me. I will listen and more. So let's talk about what's bothering you. Anything. Tune in, listen, call in, text or voice message. I'm Dr. Joan Pinkney, counseling psychologist, ready with a listening ear. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 10 to 11 p.m. Right here on the family station, Love 101 FM.
The All-American Institute of Medical Sciences, AIMS, is your preferred tertiary institute with campuses in Black River, Kingston, and Mandeville. AIMS expands your mind to an associate degree in health sciences with electives in pharmacy technician, medical assistant and phlebotomy, dialysis technician, surgical technician in 18 months at a cost you can afford. We also offer a 4-year medical degree program and a Bachelor of Science in optometry. You'll find the AIMS experience to be an enriching one. Enroll at AIMS today. Call 876-634-4068 or visit the website aaims.edu.jm. Medical education par excellence.
Every day I get bigger. Every day I get better. I'm a star in that shimmer. Watch me grow, I'm a winner, yeah. Every step that I take, oh yeah. Feeling great cause I'm learning, yeah. I'm a star in that shimmer. Watch me grow, I'm a winner, yeah. La 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 la. Watch me grow with Alexa Plus.
Help support their mental development at this important stage with a unique combination of nutrients from Lacta Plus. This product is not intended to be a substitute for breast milk.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. We are in the second watch, and we're looking at proposed changes to the Cybercrimes Act to include psychological and mental injury. Our guests are Ms. Shirley Richards, attorney at law, and Mr. Chuck Cameron, Mr. Chuck Cameron, attorney at law. Ms. Richards, what proposed amendments to the Cybercrimes Act of Jamaica concern you and why? Ms. Richards. Apparently, we don't have Ms. Richards online. I don't know if we have lost Ms. Richards. Mr. Cameron? I don't know if we have lost Mr. Cameron.
One of the amendments that were very concerning to the computer community or the software development community is they wanted to have inserted in the legislation a structured way to be able to conduct, they want to develop a sandbox so they can actually develop their skills and help people protect their systems by way of ethical hacking. Because so you have students in our university systems, in our universities, that are being trained to be cybersecurity experts. And that's one context. Another context is you have what are known as ethical hackers. Those are persons that would test persons' systems, and when I say test, to check to see if there are any vulnerabilities, and instead of reporting those vulnerabilities, report those vulnerabilities to the owners of those systems. I know that there's a proposal from UTech that wanted to develop a sandbox to make provision for that, so members of the public who operate systems can benefit, and students who are learning these skills can also safely exercise these skills. But coming out of the latest discussions based on the Jamaica Observer article, it is this issue of recriminalizing what was decriminalized, but from a defamation point of view, because some time ago there was a commission that was established that had led to the repealing of, I believe it was the section of the legislation, either Libel and Slander Act, that spoke to defamation or libel being a criminal offense. In effect, that is what
criminal libel was removed. Yes, continue, sir.
Correct. In effect, that is now being reintroduced. The question we need to ask ourselves is there a sufficient public interest or mischief or context that has changed that requires this? And when you step back and look at the proliferation of networks, because we now live in a networked society where we are informational beings. Coming out of the NITS decision, it was declared that we have a right to informational privacy. So if it is our constitution recognizes us basically as persons having informational rights, the state must provide a mechanism where it can be protected, and we now exist in a network society. So if it is someone causes you harm in that space, it follows that the state has a duty to protect you, and they have sought to do so by recriminalizing what could be regarded as defamatory material. To do so, however, I would want to, and just thinking it through, I would want to change that burden of proof. I'm of the view that in order to successfully make a criminal complaint and for there to be a criminal prosecution, contrary to defamation, where the defendant has to, well, if he's relying on the truth, he has to prove that is true. Similarly, so in this instance, any material that is posted that causes harm, the complainant in this case has to prove that what he has said is not true, as opposed to putting the burden on the defendant to prove that it is true. So, for example,
Well,
if someone,
I will only ask you not to go into the example only because of time, and we have Miss Richards back online. But
yes,
I think listeners essentially get the point of what you are saying, Mr. Cameron. I'm going to bring in Miss Richards now, only because of time, Mr. Cameron. Miss Richards?
Hi, Mr. Marshall, morning. Mr. Cameron, morning. Can you hear me now?
Good morning.
We are hearing you loud and clear. Not too sure what happened, why we lost you
Okay.
before.
You're asking the concerns?
Yes.
Yes.
Which proposed amendments concern you and why?
Well, I don't know all the proposals, but certainly I've seen in recent times a proposal by UTech, but I don't know that institution is the only body which is making that proposal. Basically, that you must include, well, for the government to include psychological and mental damage in the definition of damage, which is in the legislation. I'm very concerned about that. You know, we live in a world now where basically you have secular blasphemy. You used to have religious blasphemy, but nowadays it's secular blasphemy. You are not allowed to say things which are contrary to what powerful groups deem as being the norm. Let me give you one case. Recently, a couple of years ago, I think she was a former government minister, she was charged. Criminal charges were brought against her. Why? Because she tweeted some verses from Romans chapter 1 in response to her church's involvement in an LGBT pride event. And for that, 3 criminal charges were laid against her. Case took about 2 years. Thankfully, the charges were dismissed. But the state prosecutor is now appealing the judgment. According to the state prosecutor, the statements by her were likely to cause intolerance, contempt, and hatred towards homosexuals. So, and listen, what is also a concern is that you already have in the Cybercrimes Act, Section 9(1)(a), you already have that type of thing in the composition of what is an offense. An offense, a person commits an offense if that person uses a computer to send to another person any data, whether in the form of message or otherwise, that is obscene, constitutes a threat, or is menacing in nature, and with the intention to harass any person or cause harm or the apprehension of harm to any person or property. So you already have that coming out in the legislation. Constitutes a threat or is menacing in nature. So a lot of it's still very subjective. We are now moving to the point of being able, of crimes, victims of crime, being able to allege that a crime has committed in regards to stealing. And that's my concern. That is my concern. Are we then in danger of breaching the whole matter of freedom of speech?
I think your concern is legitimate, Ms. Richards, but I want to ask you this. In preparing for this interview today, I came across or stumbled upon something. There is an online safety bill. I think it's being proposed for the United Kingdom. And assuming that this is, in fact, assuming if it becomes a law in the United Kingdom, it could penalize the use of the internet in a way where even if what is done is legal, but if it is harmful, you could still get in trouble with the law. And I'm not sure if harm has been defined or clearly defined. Are you seeing a parallel between such a feature of an online safety bill in the United Kingdom and this proposed change to our local Cybercrimes Act here in Jamaica, Ms. Richards?
Obviously, I have to read more about it, but from what you've said, it does sound good to me. I mean, remember what I said initially, this whole matter of secular blasphemy. You are not allowed to say things which will hurt an individual. It used to be that truth was the defense, or based on factual, on reality, based on facts. These things happened. It was truthful. But now the offense seems to be really rooted in the subjective reception by the individual
in fact,
of the information.
Only because of time, I quickly interject this. One of the sources I saw was www.christian.org.uk, and the other source I saw was www.politics.co.uk. In fact, one of them made mention that even fake news, whatever fake news is, could be penalized. And I'm not sure how they would define fake news, because something could be fake news today, but it is proven correct tomorrow. I think we're totally out of time. Mr. Cameron, a final word you want to leave with us, or you are through?
there's always a balancing. There are always competing rights that the state has to balance, but we also have to refine and amend our laws to meet the different context and in which society finds itself. It
Have to
cannot.
leave it there. Have to leave it there. Miss Richards, a final point.
Let's be careful to protect our freedom of speech.
Have to leave it there only because of time, but we have to leave it there. I want to thank both of you for being guests. Thank you for being with us. And of course, listeners, join my colleague, Dr. Dylan Tucson, next week, Tuesday, as we look at other topical and controversial issues. And of course, visit our Love 101 FM YouTube channel and of course our Facebook page. Download our app. We are the number 4 station in the island and the number 1 gospel station in Jamaica. Thanks to our producer, Kathy Gale, and to our guests. I am Stokeley Marsh, and hand you back to Love in the Morning with Deidre.
Thank you so much there, Stokely Marshall. The time on Love is now 8:01.